Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe, Miraculous Ladybug, New Powerpuff Girls, Star vs. the Force of Evil, and RWBY. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
Today, Delaney and I will be discussing Chapter 4 of Volume 4 of RWBY Family. We discuss RWBY every week that it's new here on the Overly Animated Podcast. You can check us out at overlyanimated.com or search for the Overly Animated Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, or your other favorite podcatcher. No, there's no new episode of RWBY last week, but we're back here, and I presume we'll be new for a little bit going forward. Although I guess we're Thanksgiving weekend next weekend, so we'll see. But yeah, spoilers for Family. Let's get right into this episode. Delaney, a lot to talk about here.
Yes.
What are your initial reactions to Family?
It was a good episode. I don't know, there's a lot going on. There's just a lot. It's kind of interesting. We've had some longer episodes so far this season, and this one had, it was a shorter episode, and it had a lot going for it. There's just a lot going on. I liked it. I don't know, pacing's a little weird, but it was good. I don't know, there's just a lot going on.
There's a lot, yeah, a lot to get to. Yeah, I've been sitting on this one. I watched it twice, still a little bit unsure what to make of it. I think that this is actively good. I think that this is probably our best episode of RWBY in a while. I feel pretty strongly about some things that I dislike about this, and we'll get into some rants, but trying to ignore those cause they're contextual. I think this is some of the best storytelling the show's really done in a while. It's a lot of the show's best dialogue and character to character moments. I think that the stuff with Raven at the end is a really good step in the right direction for the show to actually addressing its mythology faults. We're actually expanding our knowledge of the universe. We're filling in holes. We're actually moving somewhere concrete. And just a lot of great character work here, and I really appreciate it. And I'm, in general impressed with, the direction of this episode. I mean, typical RWBY, there's some pretty bad dialogue, and there's some places where you could obviously improve things, but, I guess I'm happy with it, but we're gonna get into it. I feel like quality is also the second story here, because there's a lot of interesting plot stuff to talk about. We have our farm boy, we have all the stuff with Yang, and we have the Raven stuff, so some interesting stuff. What do you want to get to first, Delaney? Should we start with the farm boy?
Yeah, I guess so. Oscar.
Okay. How are you feeling about Oscar?
I'm just confused. He just looked into the mirror. I'm like, what? I don't know. It's
yeah. So
it's still a little weird. At least we got somewhere with it today, but. Yeah.
So it's not clear what's going on here, I'm pretty sure. But, this is one of the bad moments of the episode. I mean, I don't know what they're going for here, because it's kind of interesting that we're playing this slow, and now we know that Ozpin's tied to this boy. So right. The, Oz can reincarnate theories are probably on the right track.
Right.
But, just this specific moment, I mean, just him looking into the mirror and then hearing the goofy Ozpin voice back. I don't know this is the type of thing I'm what is the audience supposed to feel about this? Was that supposed to be funny? Was that supposed to be mysterious? Or was it supposed to be interesting? Because I feel like it was none of those things.
Well, it was just there was just nothing to look at, and it was just what?
It was confusing, and it didn't do anything. So I don't know. It was just kind of there for the purposes of furthering the mystery in an obscure and supposed to be funny way, I think, but I don't think it succeeded in that.
No, it was just awkward, and again, we don't know who this kid is, and it's just what's going on.
Yeah, I'm fine with slow playing the kid. I don't know, and I think he's fine. At least it's well animated now.
Yeah, it's fine. It's pretty. It's just I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I do, and again, I'm most interested in him being Ozpin in some manner. So I think that's right. a good step. Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot to say about that. I'm interested if people agree with me on the
right.
On that being bad. Anyway, getting to better stuff. So okay, all of this Yang stuff. There's a lot here. In general, what was your reaction to how they approached the Yang trauma arc in this episode? So I think the big questions are is it done now? Was that the purpose of this episode? Is okay, we're moving past the trauma arc, and was it tactfully handled?
It was good up until the moping comment, and it was shut up, no, be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, it was fine until that moment, and it was like, you just know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, after that, it was okay, I guess. I guess we're moving past it a little bit. I like the direction we're going, where it's like Yang. I think I think this is going to kind of go into Yang's going to train so she can go off and get RWBY, which I'm fine with that. But like the stuff in the between, the dad's not so great. But
the dad's not so great. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So we can get into specifics, but there's a lot overall. I think they're trying for some good things.
Yeah.
They're trying to get into like these themes of normalizing and like, you're not just because, you've had this trauma, you don't have to be defined by it, and you like don't have to, it doesn't have to be like you're abnormal, you're still you and stuff like that. And I guess that's all good. Yeah, I think that they also get into bad stuff though with, the kind of, the way it comes across with Tai Yang's comments. I agree that those were not great, was, just, it's all in your head, just move past it. Like, and there's a way to spin that's not awful.
Yes.
Like to a certain extent, that's kind of just what psychology is like, but that's not how it works. You can't just like, so I don't know why we're going to just say, it's all about just Yang deciding to move on. She was holding herself back. That's clearly what they're going for. And I don't like that really.
No.
Yeah.
It just, he in general isn't like, I am not a fan of him, and like they continue to give him horrible lines, and he doesn't really seem like that great.
Well, let's not drag Tai Yang for the writer's bad lines, bad themes for here. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Tai Yang does anything for me either, but, yeah, he's supposed to be like, this blunt character and like blunt fathering, so they're giving him lines like that, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like they were ready to handle this plot line if this is the themes we're going to go with it. I mean,
well, we knew from the beginning that they were going to like drop this pretty hard.
Yeah, to be honest, this was better than I expected.
Oh no, it's definitely way better. And it would have been nice if they like didn't like have that line in there, and then like we don't have to wrap it up so quickly, but like it's probably best that we're wrapping it up quickly so they don't continue to botch this storyline.
Yeah. I don't think it was like one line's problem. I think that it's kind of their intent, I feel like this kind of the general themes that were represented by that and that whole ending sequence. That being said, I mean, we're kind of bashing on it. There were great moments here, like the Yang laughing with the teachers and stuff. That was all really great. And I really loved the direction with that. I mean, that scene is so complex because that's some of the best writing they've had on the show, like ever. But there's two horrible things hanging over that scene. One is this like bad approach to the mental illness arc. Another is I don't know if I want to rant about this early in the podcast, but whenever the show makes a joke, they always go back to making a joke about men who aren't masculine. Like, just once again with that, and it's just absurdly infuriating. And I'll get into that later, but or I don't know, maybe it's now, but yeah, it's this really complex thing where even when the show succeeds, it's still hampered by.
It has to throw something else in there.
Yeah, it can't get past. It's like I feel like they're getting better at what they're doing, but they're not listening to anyone. Like they're obviously not listening to any critics, because I feel like these are things that we've talked about before. And it's not like you need to listen to critics or anything. Like even with like remember Mike and Brian comments with Cora and stuff, and it's like they don't really listen to people. But at the same time, you have to be like self-aware of what your own successes and failures are, I think. And this just comes back to them really needing like a fresh perspective on things. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I guess I'm happy with the Yang stuff, but that's based off of expectations,
Well, yeah, this is based off like we were expecting like the worst of the worst, and this is fine.
It was fine, yeah.
We anticipated it being bad, and like there were bad moments, but overall it was like okay, they didn't do this horrifically bad.
If you take out a 30-second part of it, then it's actually actively good, I think. So I guess that's a win. Let's read Andy's ask here. That's about this topic. The scene with the teachers felt very strange. It was pretty solid except when Yang was talking to her father. It felt like a weird message. Yang needs time to process the horrible stuff that happened, and it seems like her dad just wants to ignore it and move on. That's a fine character stance, but it feels like Miles and Carrie are saying that the dad is right. Hopefully Yang's PTSD doesn't magically go away, but I fear that it already has. Yeah, I agree with all of that. So it is fine if Taeyang just isn't a sensitive father,
Right.
you know, like he can be a flawed character, but it definitely
Yeah.
seems like this is the message they're espousing. Like that, it comes across as the perspective of the writers is like, okay, just head down, move past it, and we're good. Like, and
Yeah.
it's not, you know, not a
And
good
it literally
message.
like, and it's kind of supposed to be like, and they spin it as this positive, like, oh, Yang's ready to fight now. Like, there's nothing heroic about what's about to happen. Like,
That's true too. Yeah.
like, this is just really irritating, and it's just like, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Within the scenario they've constructed, and I understand if your perspective is, yeah, but she can just head down and move on. Like within this specific scenario, she can move on just by putting the arm on, and like in
Right.
theory she's good because they have magic arm technology. But it's not about the specifics, it's about the like generalities, like the internal struggle, and about how generally they're approaching this topic.
Yeah, like, it's not just like, well, and I think that's a main issue with like the Yang part thing, is this framing around the arm. Like, I think it's like they immediately presented this quote unquote solution, and that's why it's made it so like irritating. It's like, just put on the arm. Like, no.
Yeah, it's their own, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, but she can just move on. That, they did that. they gave her the arm right away. You didn't have to do that. So they kind of like put them in the situation where they wanted to resolve it fast. So I guess that's fine if this is where they're going. But, yeah, it could have been more of it. You can represent Yang's internal struggle through the, getting of the arm. Like you can just delay
Right.
that or something, you know? So I don't know. Again, I guess though I'm positive on it, so we can talk about more specifics about the scene. Seeing Port and Oobleck, I think overall was really fun. Those are some of
Yes.
the better side characters in the show, and Oobleck especially we haven't seen in a while, I think. And I guess they were
Yeah.
announcing last season, but that wasn't much of
No.
anything.
And we were wondering where they were.
Yeah, like I guess that's true. I don't know how much I was thinking of them, but yeah, like what is everyone doing, right? Like they said they checked in. They said Glinda's handling things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, they're trying to rebuild Beacon.
yeah. I thought that they were really fun in general. I loved Yang laughing with them and how they talked to Yang.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Some of the best, some of the best writing on the show. Again, at the end, they lost track for like 30 seconds, then they spin it back in the right direction, and then they get into the sphere thing, and then it's like, Port's like, even I'm afraid of some things. He's afraid of mice. And that whole sequence was actually like genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Like the show, like that's so rare with the show. I thought that was a great character moment with Port. And, you know, I was kind of, yeah, like that, just the way they executed that scene too, just, it was really good, actually.
Yes.
It was really good. Okay, quick rant about this thing, cause it's framed in the context of them talking about the story of, Crow wearing a skirt, right? Is it
Yeah.
Crow? Yeah, so.
Yeah, it was Crow.
The thing is, again, I said this, whenever the show has an opportunity to throw in some random humor moment, it's all about like males being feminine is funny. And as I can talk about this personally, you know, as a male who like struggles with the societal notion of like masculinity, and as we all do, and it's like this forced notion from society, just having jokes made about that, it's like, haha, you're a joke, you're the butt of a joke, you're funny, is infuriating. And the show really just takes every opportunity to actively make these types of jokes.
It's constant, and it's super irritating.
You know, from John wearing the dress to here to just, and it's not even just those two scenes, like those involve dress wearing, but, earlier this season, we had John making jokes about John living with sisters and that feminizing him. It's coming from the position of people who don't care about, I mean, a lot of times people who make those jokes are the ones most affected by it. And they just don't have the awareness to like break free from it. So I'm not saying that like Miles and Carrie are like part of the problem. I mean, they are because they're advancing it, but they're victims too. Like, we're all victims with it. I'm talking to like men, LOL. Anyway, yeah, no, like this is bad. Why are they? It's really bad because I really love this show and I love like getting into the world of it. And then the show has these scenes where it's like, oh, you're funny, LOL. We like hate you. So that's not the types of jokes you should be making.
No.
Anyway, yeah. Most of your reactions listening are going to be like, I didn't think it was a big deal. Well, other people do. That's what I have to say to that. So that's you deal with it. Okay. That's funny because that's what they say about, yeah. Okay. So what else?
Also, they were framing it like there was also the whole like, she's right here. Like, I guess they're going to say something about like him and women. And it was just like, okay, whatever. Don't care.
Yeah, that too was, I didn't. Yeah, actually, I don't think they executed that super well. It wasn't super clear what they were doing, but
yeah, it was just like it was weird, and they made it really awkward. I was just like if you can't do it right, like take it out. Like it was just super weird.
Yeah, I agree with that. They should have just not rolled with that part. Overall, putting that aside, I guess seeing Yang talking to Port Newblack that's potentially the highlight of the season for me.
Yeah, no, it was really great, and like I think overall, this episode was really strong because of all of the Yang stuff.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think the Yang parts were the strongest parts. Yeah, it exceeded expectations. I think the so far the Blake stuff has exceeded expectations,
yes.
And the Yang stuff, and that's great. I think the Weiss stuff wasn't as good. But that's okay. So I mean, that's cool that, usually these two characters who are usually take a backseat to RWBY and Weiss are the ones that are getting the great character stuff so far.
Which
so
is
I like
good.
that. Yeah. Now we just got to get them together and have Bumblebee. So that'll be the next step. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk, we check in on Team Juniper quickly. Or Team Ranger Juniper. I actually wrote Juniper in that line. That's interesting. Yeah. Rip Pyrrha. I'm sorry.
Rip Pyrrha.
Yeah, Rip. So they're talking, I don't know, whatever they say is inconsequential. They're going to the next village and
they're
stuff
just like
that.
Chatting.
And the thing to talk about here, this is a good time. We can talk about, the Nightblood 2013 Tumblr, character screen times. The most notable thing, first of all, Tai Yang is second on this list, which is for this episode, which is interesting. But yeah, this is the Yang episode. She's first 5 minutes. Then it's like, everyone on Yang's story. Then it's like Crow and Raven. And then Team RWBY is only like a minute each. So, I think the big discussion point is like, is this RWBY's show anymore? Because this is something we've talked about, and it's more of like a fear. But now we're 4 episodes in, and none of these 4 episodes have had RWBY as the main character. And I would argue that she's not even been a lead. She's been like a secondary character for these 4 episodes. Yeah,
I don't know. Like, we say it's RWBY, but like, I'm really like, I don't even know what we're focusing on anymore. Like, we just have all these characters. We have to keep checking in on them, and I think it's ultimately going to hurt the show.
Yeah.
But, like, this isn't like, I don't know what's going on, and it's really confusing, and like, because, very much so, like, first 3 seasons, like, RWBY is very obviously the main character, but now we're here, and it's like, I don't know if RWBY's the main character anymore.
Yeah, and the show has been trending towards more of an ensemble thing for a while. So it is a conscious change in the direction of the show, and it's not inherently invalid. Right. Like, I guess RWBY doesn't need to be on the screen all the time. Okay. This is the same thing with like putting Blake as a secondary character. The problem though is that the first 2 seasons of the show do exist, and they heavily like emotionally invested me in RWBY, and to the point where she's one of my favorite characters on all of media, and I want to see her on her show. Like, I think that's a valid thing. Yeah.
And it also doesn't help that it's like when we see RWBY, she's with this giant group.
Yeah, when we do see her, she hasn't been the focus so far at all. So I really hope that I think that we're going to go towards her being some sort of maiden and important, and we're going to focus on her. So I hope that that's what we're doing. And
I mean, it's fine that we're focusing on other people. Like, we're focusing on Blake and Yang, which is like, that's great because like they never get any focus ever. So hopefully like we're building up to this like big like switch in focus where like we have to build our characters up before we're ready for this, which I'm fine with. But if that doesn't happen, that's going to be an issue. Yeah.
We need a pivot here. And, if this is just the, first 5 episodes or something, in retrospect, it'll be whatever. Like, it's a little less.
I'm just so, like, I just don't care about Team Ranger, like, at all. Like, I just don't care. And it's really irritating that we have, like, this, we're going on a trip, and it's like, the rest of you just stop talking. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care.
The rest of you just stop talking.
Just, no. Like, it's really stupid, and, like, they're, like, they have nothing going for them. And, like, they're, like, there's, like, the half a second of, like, Vrin and Nora where that was kind of interesting, which I think that ties into...
it ties into the stuff later.
Ties into Raven.
Yeah.
But, like, other than that, it's like, why are y'all here? Like, I don't care.
Yeah. And
Like,
again,
even Crow has interesting things going on, and like,
yeah, Crow's not our favorite, but he's more interesting than Team Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that. They were there. I guess their function in the past 2 episodes has been fine because they're kind of just this. They haven't been on screen that much, so that's fine. But yeah, it's holding RWBY back. It's holding the show back. Yeah, etc. Focus on your stronger characters.
Also, there's like literally nothing going on.
Yeah, literally, that's a plot point of this episode.
Yeah,
is that nothing is happening.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because we learned that Crow has been following them and killing the Grimm in their path, and that's why they haven't.
I appreciate it a lot because I was like, where are the Grimm?
Yeah, we said that before, and this is actually a really good plot moment. Like that's interesting that they. It's
thank you for acknowledging this.
That's really good narrative. Is getting your audience to ask questions and then having an answer for those questions.
Like, thank you. Yes.
And they did that.
Because this is something RWBY does very rarely. So this is great. Thank you,
RWBY always asks and does not answer. Yes. And
this is good.
This is actually, this would have been a good lead for like a review. This is an episode of answers, I think.
Yes.
To a lot of our mythology things. And that's why it's so good. That's why I think this might be, this is probably the best episode since that Cinder backstory for last season for me. And, cause it's RWBY's infuriatingly vague and this episode is specific and I love it.
Yes, at last.
Yeah, at last. Anyway, so yeah, Crow's following them and this is a good scene. This scene is like an actively good scene, but this is a classic example of like, not letting your narrative breathe because they had it. And it's like, okay, I get what they're doing. Crow killed the thing. And then he has to say, heh, luck at the end.
Yeah, like, really?
I got that already. You explained that to me. I didn't. Now, I think what they're doing upon second watch is Crow also says luck later with, the cute bartender. So I think that they're trying to make a theme going. I guess I appreciate that, but this was over explaining. They non-verbally actively explained an interesting concept.
Which, this is like an issue with RWBY in general. It's like, oh, that was really cool. And they have to have some stupid line. And I'm like, you just ruined it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just ruined it.
Yeah. They're actually like overtelling here. So I don't know. It's not,
they can't help themselves when they have to like make dumb jokes. It's like, just stop.
Yeah. I mean, they just want Crow to talk because he's a highlight, I guess.
Yes.
And, it's not a huge issue. The scene's still good with it. And again, I do think they're trying
at least it makes sense because like the crows follow them. So like he actually heard them.
Yeah.
Because before that I was like, he didn't hear them. That's stupid. But no, there's a crow, so that's fine.
I think there's like a crow that's not him, and I
know. Like
I think that was a reminder that he's a crow now. Like he can turn into a crow. So I think that's what the purpose of that was, which is good. Again, you don't need to verbally remind us about that.
Yes.
So that's good. But yeah, overall, I still think that this is a quick scene. I think it was really good, and again, they're telling something, and it's good. And but yeah, just let your narrative breathe. Okay, so the most interesting stuff: Crow and Raven. We have this whole thing with the bartender and stuff, and then they're talking. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. Basically, what we learn is that Raven and Crow, I believe that we did not know any of this, but it's possible that's not true. But I believe this is all new, other than them being siblings, I guess, which is that Crow and Raven are from a tribe of bandits, and that's where they grew up. And Crow has broken away from that because he morally disagreed with them, and Raven now leads that bandit tribe, and that they're the ones that attacked that town from a few episodes ago, and they're probably also the ones that killed Ren and Nora's parents.
Yes.
Yes.
That seems legit.
That's like all new information, all said pretty quickly in the episode, and we actually have answers. That's good.
Woo. Did this confirm that wasn't a dream in whatever, like last season? Or is it season 2? I don't remember. Because she said she saved her.
I believe that was referring to the train. At the end of season 2, Raven comes and saves Yang from Neo, and then teleports away. So that's the one save. And then, Yang then sees Raven, and we didn't know whether that was a dream or not. Yeah. It was clearly not, and then they might have retconned it. Anyway. So overall, what do you think of all this dialogue between Crow and Raven?
It was super interesting, and at first it was like really irritating because it was like, does she have it? And I was like, what?
Yeah, but then they answer it.
I was so great. Granted, I also originally thought they were talking about RWBY at first.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I forget who is whose mom, because it's really confusing.
It is
And then I was like,
confusing.
Ruby's mom's dead. But, like, I was just confused.
I guess that's good that they reminded us that Yang's her daughter.
Because I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's the other, one of the other big highlights of the scene is Raven wants to know, whether Salem has the relic. And then, Crow at the end wants to know where the Summer Maiden is.
Spring Maiden.
Spring Maiden. Yeah. Which, have we said the Spring Maiden before on the show?
I don't think so.
There's a lot of speculation about the Spring Maiden, but I don't think the show's ever said it. So this is new too, us bringing us into that.
And I feel like this is related to the boy, but I don't know.
We can talk about that, yeah. But yeah, I thought this was overall a good scene. I mean, this is typical RWBY dialogue. It's heavy-handed at points. You know, it's vague in the beginning, but they do answer their own questions. It's heavy on the intended wordplay. We have this whole thing about who's this we. I thought it was successful. The show typically the show is not successful when it does something like that, but I do think that this was one of the better written scenes of, props to Miles on this scene in this episode, honestly. Like, I'd give Miles a hard time, but I think this was some of his best writing. And
I would think it was really interesting, and especially since it's kind of like really our introduction to Raven.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've seen Raven many times, but I had no impression of her before this.
Right.
I feel like her voice is a little weak. I don't know. And her model too. It's not just her voice. I feel like she's a little vague. I don't know. I didn't get a strong impression from her model.
No, it's just like weird. I don't know. And then like the dark portal nonsense. I don't know what's going on with that, but
yeah, I don't care about the portaling. Yeah, Raven has a portal gun, just like Star's scissors and Morty's portal. Yeah, they're Rick's portal gun. Yeah, so they can all go on interdimensional adventures. But yeah. Overall, though, what's your thoughts on Raven right now?
Interesting. Definitely. I think that we're definitely going to see more of her. And like, I don't think she's necessarily bad. Like, I think we're trying, like, I think they're trying to force it to, like, oh, she's bad, but she's end up gonna being good. Like, you're not tricking me. But,
you're not tricking me.
Like, I'm not tricked. I think it's a little forced, but it's definitely interesting. I mean, we haven't really seen, she hasn't spoken, so, like, this is neat. I'm interested to see more of her. Like, I don't know, I thought it was really good, and, like, it was definitely some interesting, like, interaction.
Yeah.
So, also, it's kind of a weird parallel to, like, Yang and RWBY. So,
that's
got
interesting.
some stuff going on.
Yeah, that's interesting. These two. I think Raven's.
The show just does sibling relationships like super weird, but it's fine.
It does. Yeah, it does. This is an interesting sibling relationship. Yeah. Raven. I don't know. Raven's still vague. I guess the debate I've seen is like whether Raven's like full villain or if she's just like an anti-hero. I think this scene, I agree with you that we're going to do some sort of like she's going to turn out to be good thing.
Right.
But the scene is presenting her as really bad.
Yeah.
Because it's like she's the one that killed everyone. So
right.
well, like all those kids.
Yeah, no, that's not good, obviously.
Yeah, but as like, you know, as usual when the show does evil like young looking people, they're still like sympathetic. Like it's like Cinder. Like you still like Cinder even when she's, you know, killing everyone. So I actually think that's one of the show's strengths is that Cinder is still sympathetic even after she literally killed one of our faves. But yeah, Raven's, I don't know, she's fine. I'm really glad we defined her. You could argue this was the worst aspect of the show until now, Raven. They handled her really badly for a while. Like, this is the most vague thing and the most infuriating thing. And then people like had like thought that she was, I don't know. It was also frustrating talking to people because people think that she was defined well. And I feel like this also subverts a lot of what we knew about her. So I don't know. Anyway, it's, I'm really glad we're.
Well, it was not a vague, like, people don't really talk about Raven. She's not good. She's not bad. But then it was kind of leaning towards making her kind of like this hero. And I think this has definitely like changed like the perception of Raven.
Clearly, you can't deny that she is not a good person at the moment.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the overall thing. Yeah. I think the scene's strong. I think Raven is, she could be a better character. I don't know. She's not super well defined for me still. But
we really just don't know what's going on with her. That's the thing. Like we just had like this really vague conversation and then.
I like this better in terms of vaguely advancing the mythology. Give me this over the Salem scenes so far.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. I think this does a better job. Like their argument about where the relic is, where the Spring Maiden is, I think all that works. And I also think again, he's not our fave, but I think Crow is just a very strong character at this point.
Yeah, well, I'm like getting to the point where I'm like, Crow's okay.
I mean, I've never hated Crow. He's not sympathetic. He's not inherently sympathetic.
Right.
Because, he's like a tool.
That's the point. Yeah, he's a tool, yes.
But, he can certainly handle scenes. A lot of it has to do with his voice actor. His voice actor, I think, is a little bit heads and shoulders above the other talents on the show. But, he really handles scenes well. And, Crow can hold down a scene like this. This is a good idea, doing a scene through Crow's eyes. So I thought that was good. Quick speculation. So they're talking about the relic. We were speculating on the relic, but, so it seems like Raven's tribe wants, one other thing I wanted to ask is, do you see a connection between Raven's clan and the White Fang?
See, that's like this. It's kind of weird. Like they both kind of wear Grimm symbols
because they're not like Faunus,
right?
So I
don't know. Like I think it just like she wears like a Grimm helmet, and that's like the White Fang. Like they all just kind of dress in like Grimm colors, and I feel like that's like what they just look similar.
They're similar like tribes and bandits and
yeah. So I think the White Fang has been definitely presented more as kind of like a terrorist group. Like they're like this kind of like separatist kind of thing. Meanwhile, like this is a tribe. Like this is like a it's a family, a group of like. So
I don't think
I understand. I think this might be an issue with like how they've done this. That like they look too similar. Now they could be related. I don't know. I don't think they are. But and if they aren't, I think that's kind of an issue with like how they've designed.
Yeah, I'm someone who actively tries to understand what's going on with the show's mythology, and it was still confusing. Like, right. I think that I agree. It's an issue because of her mask here. We kind of like focus on like this mask that she has too, and the problem is it looks like White Fang to me a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess this is the thing, the people from the intro. We're like, are they White Fangs? I guess this is them, but I'm not, I don't know, but I still don't really know. I think the show needs to be clear in separating the two things. The only thing that gives me pause in terms of the actual mythology is that we're going to eventually meet this female White Fang leader. And I'm like, what if it's Raven? Like, that's the only thing that gives me pause. I don't think that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't think so. That'd also be like that wouldn't make a lot of sense. Like,
it would have to be like the White Fang is controlled by non-Faunus type thing, which would be frustrating. Yeah.
Yes.
They should clear that up. But it is also just confusing having two similarly functioning vague groups in your mythology. Yeah,
like and they're both use Grimm symbols, and like that doesn't like help anything.
And also we have a Grimm villain now too, and like everything. So
like everything's the Grimm, and I'm like, that's fine, but like you make them all look a little different.
Yeah, more visually distinct. Yeah. There you go. Let us know if you think there's any connection on that. So quickly speculating about the relic, which I don't know how much there is. They both want the relic. But they don't want Salem to have the relic, right? So this is presenting Raven's like tribe as opposing Salem.
Yes.
Like they're not working together, but Salem's tribe also not working with the civilized, like whatever, you know?
Yeah, they're just out for themselves.
Yeah, so like a third party in this, but they both don't want Salem. It implies at the end that Raven's tribe might survive a Salem attack.
Yeah.
And not, it's like they wouldn't be their targets, kind of, I feel like is what is implied at the end. But she still doesn't want her to like take over the world, I guess. The Spring Maiden though. So Crow is seeking the Spring Maiden and thinks Raven might have info on the Spring Maiden. The problem with speculating on this is that we know nothing about the maidens and anything. Here's I guess as always, one of our top contenders for the Spring Maiden is RWBY the Spring Maiden.
Yes.
Yes, RWBY's the Spring Maiden.
Well, no, I just meant like yes, that is a theory.
Yes or no?
I don't know. Like she has this gray. I don't know. Like.
What about how to wear gray eyes play into it? Dude?
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, there is just so much going on, and
is the boy the Spring Maiden?
I feel like the boy could be the Spring Maiden, but then I'm also like,
but aren't we going the Ozpin route with him?
I mean, could it be both? We don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's both. Yeah, maybe he's
also like the idea of like a boy being a maiden is like, I mean, it's fine.
I've gotten a lot of pushback on that. Like, people have a serious issue with that. So maybe.
Well, I mean, my issue with it is like. Have this maiden, and then it's like, of course, with the show, everything has to be about men. And I'm like, do we have to do this?
Yeah, that's true.
If it's not really a boy, or like it's like this kind of like identity issue, that's a whole other ballpark, and that's fine.
People are objecting in terms of like it contradicts the mythology of the show.
Oh, I just have the issue with
yeah.
from like the feminists, like that's irritating.
Yeah, I agree that too. Anyway, I don't think they're going with him. I thought,
can we contradict the mythology that we don't understand? I don't think so. So
that's my viewpoint. Is it's not defined, so
we don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he's the Spring Maiden anymore because I think they're doing Ozpin stuff.
Yeah, I think they're doing like Ozpin like.
Yeah. By the way, that scene gives the impression that Ozpin's like hiding in the mirror.
I know, like
what that's. I'm pretty sure that's not what's happening, but that's what the scene makes you think.
And then he's like, "Hello, like, why are you talking to the mirror, boyo? Like, why,
boyo,
why?"
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't. I guess the most likely thing is that the Spring Maiden's just another cool character we haven't met.
I'm fine with that
because Fall Maiden had super cute designs, so that'd be like
I'm fine with us introducing like more super cool ladies. That's fine.
Yeah, I guess that's what we do with that.
But like, I'm also like, what?
I guess I'm at this point. I'm actively rooting for RWBY having some larger importance again because I just want her on the screen more. So I guess that's what I'm rooting for. Okay, yeah. Other than that, okay, we can speculate about the future at the end. But yeah, the last scene is Aang with puts the arm on. Okay, let's get started. I don't know what that means. Let's get started. I guess they're going. I guess
it's the training, like.
So they're training, and then they're going to go find Ruby. Is that it?
I guess so. I really didn't appreciate that I have things to take care of. Like, shut up.
Yeah, shut up, Tai Yang.
Like, no one cares about you.
Do you care about Tai Yang? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments if you care about Tai Yang. So how are we going to tie all of our girls back together?
I guess it's like this epic journey to save Ruby, probably.
We still haven't.
Fine with that.
Yeah.
Perhaps this kind of like. They're just trying to find her.
I guess so, because we still have. I think next episode we need more. We're probably going to get.
We didn't talk about it either. Like in the beginning, like this is kind of the first time everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Ruby's gone." Like,
yeah, that's true. They do say, "Yeah, where are you?" Yeah, like everyone acknowledging it, and Tai Yang's like, I can't leave." You know,
it's been like 5 episodes, y'all. Like I think we should have talked about this like before, but
yeah,
it's
probably. I think next episode we're probably going to see more of Blake and Weiss. If I had to guess,
I think so. We definitely need to see Weiss.
So I think at this point Yang is done. Like I think we could stop with Yang's solo arc here and be done. And not necessarily that I want us to, but like.
Well, I don't think we are, but like we could.
We might just we could also do like a minute of her training, like in between other things later. But we need to see the concert with Weiss, and we need to see the Blake's parents come into play.
Yes, and then like somehow bring this all together.
My guess is that next episode opens on Blake's ship like coming to shore and then walking out, and Blake's parents being there. That's and it's like, hi, meet not my boyfriend, but yeah, I think that's probably what but I wonder how much we'll get with like we still haven't seen I don't even remember Tyrion attack Ruby yet, so I guess we need to do that.
And then like Crow's been following them, so like it's Crow and Tyrion gonna fight? Is Crow gonna have to reveal himself?
Yeah, I guess that's what'll happen.
Also, it's so funny. Like Crow's been following them this whole time, and like he's been taking out the little Grim, then he's just like, "LOL, fight the big Grim."
Yeah, like, why didn't you step in that giant Grim fight in episode 1, Crow? Come on.
I guess it's like, gotta let them think they're doing something.
I guess that's what that was. Like, yeah, come on, Crow.
Like,
he's probably off at the bar.
He's just sitting there. He's like, "This is fun." He's like, "I'm tired. I'm gonna take a nap."
Yeah. Also, by the way, Crow's make it a double. That's a good Crow impression. All Crow's alcohol. Thank you. Crow's alcohol references are super annoying.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, I get it. Crow's the sleazy Mad Men guy who drinks all the time. I get it. I don't know what else. Any other thoughts about what we'll see next episode?
Probably the concert for Weiss. I feel like they can't drag it out too much longer.
There's some speculation that would be a point where we'd get all the characters together, but I don't think we're going north.
We're going to Mistral. I think.
So I think we're going east, so we wouldn't have that happen. I
don't know. Like,
but it could be. We also could see pre-concert Weiss stuff. Like,
yeah. I don't really know how we're gonna tie this all together. Like, I feel like a lot of it's gonna be like Ruby, like Ruby's in danger or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, one thing's clear: we're 4 episodes in, and we've clearly not reunited any of the characters yet. So the 4-episode hope has not happened. We'll see if it's 6. We'll see if it's. I guess at this point, it's more likely to be more than 6 than 6, right? Like, how are they going to get everyone back in 2 episodes?
Right. I think it's gonna be like a finale kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess I still think they'll come before the finale, but I'm not as confident in that anymore.
It's just really hard to figure out, like, how they're going to do that. And, like, especially since, like, all of the plot points are out except Yang's hasn't even really, like, reached a point of, like, things actually happening. Like, I don't think Yang is concluded. I still think we're going to have some stuff with Yang, but, like, we're, like, she's still struggling, but, like, we've reached a point with Yang now. We have not reached any points with RWBY or Blake or Weiss. So, like, it's really hard to imagine, like, getting them together when, like, none of them have, like, done anything.
Yeah. Agree. We need more from Blake and Weiss before we can think about converging. So, yeah, that's gonna be fun. I don't know if we have a new episode next weekend or not. I haven't heard about that. But Rooster Teeth is, much like RWBY, is frustratingly vague with when there'll be new episodes. Vague. So I would like to know that. They should just have a thing on their site that says, next episode blank. That would solve everything. So I would love that. Anyway, let us know your thoughts on this episode and our comments on this episode. Leave comments on YouTube. Leave Tumblr asks our comments on the website, overlyanimated.com. You can click on this article and then leave a comment there. We will be back whenever Ruby's back. Very exciting Star mid-season finale tomorrow. New Steven Universe the week after next week. And yeah, so good stuff at overlyanimated.com. You can check us out there. Consider supporting us at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to our patrons, Mitch Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, Jamie, Rachel, John, Ryan, Catherine, Taylor, Dave, Andre, John, Finish, and Victoria, and Katrin, aka Phoebe, Mitch, Gunner, C, Beach, Strange, Nathan, Philly, and Buzz Lightyear, Mailman, Rachel, Johnny, Robert, Brian, Cookie, Cat, Needle, Diamond Day, Jewel, Garfield Fusion, Skylark, Patron, Katrin. Thank you very much to those of you who've helped raise our RWBY specific iTunes feed star review on iTunes. We're up to 3 stars now. We were at 1 star before, so thank you guys.
Thank you.
If you want to go to overlyanimated.com, click on RWBY on the right under show specific iTunes feeds and help us get rid of those 3 negative reviews. You can do that. Also, if you want to like leave a long form text review, it would be great if the main feed at overlyanimated.com, just on iTunes and our main feed there. Very much appreciate any iTunes reviews and stuff.
We read all of them and we love them.
Yes, we do. We do love them. And yeah, I think that's it. So we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see when RWBY is. Last comments, Delaney.
I'm just glad, I just want Yang to be happy.
Aw.
That's all.
Well, I guess she's happy, so that's good.
What did he call her? It was like my little,
oh, yeah.
Sunshine Dragon. I don't even think it was something like that. Oh, no. It was like dragon plus, I don't know. It was weird, but it was good.
Sunny Little Dragon.
Sunny Little Dragon.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
It's cute, and it describes Yang.
Aww.
Except not little, because she is not little.
She's not little, but that's cute. Anyway. Yeah, so hashtag, Sunny Little Dragon. Okay. Thank you.
Make Yang happy, 2K16.
Hashtag make Yang happy, 2K16. I guess that was the point of the episode, so maybe we succeeded. Anyway, thanks guys for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.